I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game.
If you're looking for the best basketball talk in the universe, you just found it. This is Deep Hoops, where fans are the host. Tim Brayboy, Troy Ramel Royal, and me, your point guard, Jehudi. We're talking basketball, all basketball, and nothing but basketball. So sit back and enjoy the best basketball talk in the podcast universe. This is Deep Hoops.
All right, so what we're going to do is our top 25 players of the 2017 and 2018 season. Now, let's set this up, Rob. We saw ESPN put out their top 100.
Yes.
We saw the Washington Post put out their top 100. I believe it was, and I may be wrong, you can correct me. I believe it was in ESPN's top 100 that they had Carmelo Anthony like in the 60s.
They had rookies ahead of him.
Rookies. They had Lonzo Ball ahead of Carmelo Anthony.
A travesty.
Ridiculous.
Despicable.
Outrageous.
Horrendous.
An abomination.
Just awful.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set the record straight, and we're going to talk about what we, Deep Hoops, fans, not experts, think of those experts, top 25, and give you what the fans, you and I, we all believe should be the top 20. We're not doing 100. Too long of a show. But we're going to give you our top 25. We're going to go from 25 to 1, starting with Rob. Who's your 25th through, 25 through 21?
Well, I'm going to start off with LaMarcus Aldridge. I think that he rounds out my top 25. I think that LaMarcus Aldridge is a very good player. His turnaround jump shot at his side is probably the best in the league. His ability to shoot an outside shot from the power forward position is very good. I think that he had to make some adjustments going to San Antonio. But remember, this was probably a top 3 power forward in the game at his stay in Portland. He's good for 20 points plus a night. He just have to find his way in San Antonio, and I think you'll see it this time around. At 24, I'm going to go with Kevin Love. Kevin Love was a beast in Minnesota, a lot like LaMarcus Aldridge as far as his ability to shoot the jump shot from that power forward position. He also has a three-point shot. He has a post-up game that I don't know why Cleveland doesn't utilize that much. He's a darn good rebounder. So I like Kevin Love at 24. 23, Blake Griffin. I like to put Blake Griffin higher, but his injuries just disturbs me quite a bit. He doesn't seem to play a full season. He doesn't seem to be ready for the playoffs at all time, but you can't question his talent level. And I look for him to be even better this year. I think if we was to do this list come June, I think he'll move up on the list. But I got Blake Griffin at 23. 22 is Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry is easily a top 10 point guard in this league. He's the catalyst in Toronto. He has won Olympic titles. I like him coming out of Villanova. He bounced around from Houston to Toronto, but he has solidified himself there in Toronto. And as I said, he's a top 10 point guard in this league, maybe even higher. I got him at 22. And then 21 is Gordon Hayward. I like Gordon Hayward a lot. Unfortunately, that he's had the injury. But coming into this season, I clearly had him as a top 25 player, 21. I think that his future is really bright, and he was only going to get better in Boston. Unfortunately, we might have to wait till next season, but I will not remove him from my top 25 due to injury. He belongs there. I also think he's another one of those players that come June, he probably would have moved up on the list.
Mm-hmm. Who's your 21?
Gordon Hayward was 21.
Gordon Hayward, I thought he was 22.
No, he was 21. 22 was Lowry.
Lowry, okay. My top 25, I have, and I'm just going to name them and then I'll talk about them. C.J. McCollum at 25. DeMar DeRozan at 24. Kyle Lowry at 23. Gordon Hayward at 22. And Isaiah Thomas at 21. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people coming after me with Isaiah Thomas at 21. We knew about his injury coming into the season. He had a great season in Cleveland. I don't know that he was as great as his season was. I mean, in Cleveland. In Boston last year. He had a great season in Boston last year. I don't think he was as great of a player as he showed himself to be last season in Boston. He should be in the top 25, but I don't have him any higher than that. Gordon Hayward. Now, we compiled this list really before the season started.
Yes.
And you and I both have Gordon Hayward in our top 25. I think he's worthy of the top 25. I think in some polls they had him a lot higher. I couldn't put him much higher than where we have him, both somewhere around 22, 23. I think that's where he belongs. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, I like them both.
Yes.
They bring a lot to the game.
Top 5 backcourt.
Yes, top 5 backcourt. But as individual players, with my eyes, not analytics, with my eyes, I think I have them positioned right where they need to be. And it's not a slap or a disrespect to those individuals. When we go through this list, we got some great players on this list. And this doesn't diminish their greatness. It just means that I don't believe them to be any better than the players that I have ahead of them. So that was my list. C.J. McCollum. Now, C.J. is a player that could rise during the season, and I can guarantee you next season, if he does what I believe he's going to do, he's going to be much higher than 25 on my list. But you didn't have him, so you must have him higher. I don't know. We didn't compare notes, a few things, but we really didn't compare notes. Give me your 20 through 16.
Well, 20, probably the second best young talent in the league, and that's Karl Anthony Towns. I would put him 20. I think the best young talent is Joel Embiid, but because he hasn't played enough games, I just can't put him in the top 25. But Karl Anthony Towns is number 20. I look for him to have a breakout season this year. I look for him, and along with Andrew Wiggins and Jimmy Butler, to guide this Minnesota team to a number 4 seed in the West. Number 19, DeMar DeRozan. I think that when you're talking about 2 guards in the league, you can make the case that he's top 5. I mean, when you think of 2 guards, you think of Klay Thompson, you think of Jimmy Butler, but who comes next? Is it Bradley Beal? Is it C.J. McCollum? Is it Gordon Hayward? Or is it DeRozan? You can make a case that DeRozan is a top 5 2-guard in this league. I can't forget James Harden. But you can make an argument that he's a top 5 2-guard in this league. And what I like about him, Jehudi, is that his game is not centered around the long ball, the long shot. He goes to the basket. His mid-range is good. He gets to the free throw line. So I like him at number 19. Number 18 is Lillard, Damian Lillard. Top 5 point guard in this league. Only getting better. Only getting better. What he needs is a consistent playoff run. They managed to beat the Clippers that one year when they were injured, but they need to have a better showing this time around. But Damian Lillard is my number 18. Number 17, my guy, Carmelo Anthony. I don't care what anyone has to say about him. I've never seen a superstar that gets more knocks than Anthony and don't quite deserve it. This is not Dwight Howard who brought himself down. Carmelo Anthony was a professional in New York City. Despite all the rumblings and grumblings from Phil Jackson, carried himself as a model citizen. He was voted teammate of the year from the New York Knicks. Guys are sending miss you letters in the Players Tribune. Carmelo Anthony. And you're going to see the resurgence of Carmelo Anthony in OKC as he's surrounded with other top 25 players. So he's my number 17. Number 16, Draymond Green. Draymond Green is the unsung MVP of the Golden State Warriors. He may not be the most talented of the group, but he's the unsung MVP. He goes out, they're vulnerable. What he does, he prevents those guys, those shooters, those guys who can create their own shot. What he does, he prevents them from having to handle the ball because he comes down Right now, he's leading the team in assists as we speak for the season at 9.3 a game. Because he feeds those guys, and they're getting equal shot, and no one is holding the ball too long. But he's the heart and soul. He's their Dennis Rodman. He's their rebounder. He's their emotional leader. He's that guy. He's even the guy that might disrupt them the most and cause them to lose. But he's just that guy. I got him number 16.
I meant to mention, I didn't have LaMarcus Aldridge or Kevin Love in my top 25. I don't have them in. And I have to just mention with LaMarcus Aldridge, the way he didn't show up in the playoffs. Not saying that he's not a great player, not saying that he's not bubbling under the top 25. I just couldn't in my right mind put him in my top 25. Now, Popovich said I played him wrong. I didn't do him right because I didn't play him in the right way. Let's see what happens this year. But as going into this season, I couldn't put him in my top 25. And I didn't have Kevin Love. I think Kevin Love is a solid player. But, if we were looking at the Minnesota Kevin Love, probably so. This Cleveland Kevin Love, I can't put him in my top 25. But I'm surprised, and I don't have him much higher, that all of the things that you said about Draymond Green, you didn't have Draymond Green any higher.
Well, here's my thing about Draymond Green. I think the best of Draymond Green can only be on Golden State. I don't think that you could put Draymond Green on another team and you'll see an identical Draymond Green.
Okay, fair enough.
I just think that his game and what he brings to the table fits along with those players.
Okay, fair enough. My 20 through 16, and I believe at the end of this season, this player is going to rise. Carmelo Anthony. Now, once again, ESPN, I believe, had him at 61, something 63. Ridiculous, 63. The Washington Post,
35?
30-something. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's disrespectful.
Right.
You just can't disrespect Carmelo Anthony in that way. You may not like him. You may say that the ball stops when it goes to him. Where else was it going to go on the New York Knicks last season?
I watched every Knicks game. He had to do that.
So, I mean, and I have him at 20. I have him in my top 20. And I think that by the end of the season, playing with other superstars, that's not going to hurt his game. It's only going to help his game, and it's going to make him rise through that higher than that. I have Chris Paul at number 19, Mike Conley at number 18, Klay Thompson, and this one, I really want to put him up higher, but when we get up higher, I'm juggling other players. I mean, and Klay Thompson, he's the unsung hero in Golden State. I think Klay Thompson is going to probably be the odd man out when it comes up for renewal of contracts, because I think we said in the last show that Draymond and Klay Thompson are going to come up at the same time. And I'm going to tell you, Lakers, I don't think Riddick is long for Philadelphia, and I think they signed him for a one-year deal because they have their eye on Klay Thompson. Imagine Klay Thompson with Embiid and Simmons and Fultz. My God, will that be a team. But Klay Thompson is my 17, and he is going to end the season, and he's going to have a resurrection. He's coming out of the tomb. I think he's been in the tomb. He had a crucifixion. He's been in the tomb. This is the minister talking. He's going to have a resurrection this season. Blake Griffin. I have him at 16. And I said in our first show, he's going to be a contender for MVP. I really feel that Blake Griffin is going to have a great season. But based on his past, I have to put him at 16. But I think he's going to have a great season. 15 through 11, Ra?
Well, I'm going to start off with number 15, Klay Thompson. A lot of what you said, I think Klay Thompson is actually maybe the best two-way player in the game. If not arguably yes. Definitely top 3. I think Klay Thompson is going to be the odd man out, like you said, and Golden State, when those contracts come up with him and Draymond Green, I think he'd be a great catch for the Lakers or Philly, depending on which one is ahead of schedule. It might be a better choice for him, but I think the Lakers will have the nod because his dad does TV analyst and radio for the Laker games. So it might be a little bit of a favorite there. But, yeah, I have Klay Thompson at 15. I got PG3, Paul George at 14.
Ooh.
I think Paul George is a very good talent. I don't have him on superstar status yet because I don't think he's ever took a team on his back and said, come with me.
Those Indiana I'm sorry, go ahead.
Even on the Indiana teams, when they advanced, he had two other players. Roy Hibbert was at his best at the time, and then there was another player. I can't think of his name. He always stayed hurt at the time. Ah, man. But
You just said Roy Hibbert. You lost me with Roy Hibbert.
But here's the thing. Roy Hibbert, remember, they challenged Miami to the Eastern Conference Final. And he had 2 good seasons. And after that, he just fell off the face of the earth. But when Paul George has come back, what has he done with Indiana? He only took them to the playoffs at one time, and they was a first-round exit.
Who else did he have? But I'm sorry, I'm interrupting your turn. Go ahead.
Paul George, phenomenal talent, just doesn't think he's superstar level yet. All right. Jimmy Butler, number 13. I like him because I think that when it comes down to two-way players, again, you can make the case he's top 3, top 5. This is a guy that took baby steps, and I think that he's right where he needs to be. He's not superstar level yet, but he's on the verge of being so. Number 12. This is a tough one for me because I just couldn't squeeze him in my top 10, and that's John Wall. I talked to you about John Wall. I think he's an MVP candidate. You can make the case that John Wall might be top 5 point guard right now. I'll take him over Damian Lillard. But John Wall is right now my number 12, and then number 11, DeMarcus Cousins. I think that DeMarcus Cousins is just a phenomenal talent. At his size, he can handle the ball, he can shoot threes, he can post, he can rebound. What he needs right now, and I don't know if Alvin Gentry is the guy for him, but he needs someone that just can discipline him, tone him down to get the best of him. But I do have him at number 11.
Wow. Good stuff. My 15 is Damian Lillard. 14 is Draymond Green. 13 is DeMarcus Cousins. We have an agreement on 12 with John Wall. And then I have Jimmy Butler at number 11. Now, let me just break down. I think DeMarcus Cousins, he gets in his own way. DeMarcus Cousins can arguably be top 5.
In the game.
In the game, yeah. Period. But he gets in his own way. I want to see him play under control. I want to see him win games for his team and not lose games with his attitude. I think if DeMarcus Cousins can control DeMarcus Cousins, what he would be able to do is dominate the NBA. I think the only thing that's stopping DeMarcus Cousins from dominating the NBA is his own mental lack of toughness or mental capacity to really control himself. I have Damian Lillard. I love his game. You know, I think he's a top 5-6 point guard in the NBA, and that shows by where I have him. John Wall, come on. We both have him at 12. And at the end of the season, John Wall is another one of those players that can crack the top 10, maybe even, well, maybe not the top 5, but I think that he can easily crack the top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think the top 5, I think we're going to be consistent. We may have people placed in different areas, but I think our top 5 is going to be the same. And it's going to be hard for anyone to crack the top 5 except for my number 6 player. So I like what you have. I don't have much debate with what you have. What are your thoughts on my 15 through 11?
Well, for the most part, it's the same players, except for you have, I believe you have Damian Lillard there, and I don't have him quite that high. I have him at 18. But no, I can't disagree with anything you have said.
You know, the funny thing, when we get to the top 10, I got to be honest with you. I left the player out. And now I'm sitting here realizing, how did I leave that player out? and I got to work them back in. So we're going to go to our sponsor, and we'll come back, and I'll work them back in. All right. We're in our top 10. We just had a laugh.
The cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop. And so you give me your 10 through 6 in your top 10.
Well, number 10 for me is Kyrie. I just think that Kyrie is probably one of the most gifted players in this game. His uncanny ability to score, his heart. You're going to see his leadership in Boston this year. I think he gets a bad rep by being the Robin to LeBron, but I have him number 10. Number 9, Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Anthony Davis, only thing that's missing from him is that New Orleans has yet built a team around him. But you're talking about a player that can do all. He's a combination of Marcus Camby and Tim Duncan.
Wow. It's a nice combination.
And he's kind of a dual power forward, and he's a great kid, a young player. He's coachable. I think he's loyal, but they failed to build a team around him.
Yeah.
Number 8 is James Harden. I have James Harden at number 8. I think that when it comes down to shooting guards in the league, he may just be the best, but he would probably be higher if he played any defense. But I have him at number 8. The guy can just flat out score. He's a musician with the basketball. He knows some tricks how to get to the free throw line. Just a phenomenal player.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 is Chris Paul. I know that Chris Paul is not the Chris Paul of old, but when you talk about point guards, he's still the game's best leader. He's probably the game's best pure point guard out there. You're not going to mention a top 5 point guard list without him. He's out with an injury now, but I think at the end of the day, he's still worthy of a top 10. I have him at number 7. And number 6, this is my guy that I'm keeping an eye on. I said in our last show, I believe in 2 years, we're going to talk about him being the best in the league. And that's Giannis, the Greek freak in Milwaukee. The guy just does it all. And once he gets that consistent jump shot, he's going to be a problem. I'm going to tell you something about this guy. They stole the ball against Portland. He got the ball at half court, took one step, and was in stride to the basket for a layup.
I know. He's unbelievable.
How do you guard that? I mean, he's 7 foot tall, every bit of it.
The long arms.
Just a phenomenal talent. Once he gets that jump shot, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's a force without the jump shot. When he gets a jump shot, who knows what he's going to be. Maybe the best player ever. And I don't believe in hyperbole, and I'm not dealing in it. But from what I've seen, he has the potential of being the best player ever. Because what is he, 22, 23?
If he's 23,
that's it.
He just turned it to.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Jonas. All right. Wow. So at 10, I have someone that you ranked a little lower, and I just have all the respect in the world for him. I put respect on his name, Paul George. I like Paul George, and I think that what he's going to be able to do at OKC is going to really take them to another level. When we talk about two-way players, he's a great defensive player. He's a great offensive player. I know that you talked about what he didn't do in Indiana, but what he did do in Indiana is he had them competing at the time with not the first super team, but the main super team of our era, the Miami Heat. And you talked about Hibbert. Nah, man. Paul George was the reason that they competed. Paul George. So I have him at number 10. I think he's going to have a breakout season. At number 9, I have the Twin Towers. I have 2 people sharing number 9. I have Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns. I think both of them are freaks of nature. I think both of them can dribble the ball in a way that I've never seen a 7-footer dribble the ball. Both of them have range on their jump shot. Both of them have a post game. Both of them can defend, and they have long arms. I think they came out of Calipari's system. I think they are the same, one and the same. And one of them is going to rise and another one is they're both going to rise. I don't think there's an either or. I like both of those players, so I'm going to have them tied at 9. At number 8, what I picked is my MVP for this season, and I don't think that he's going to be an MVP for this season now that Gordon Hayward got hurt, but I have number 8, Kyrie Irving. I love everything about Kyrie. Maybe, not even maybe, I can't think of, well, maybe, because Steph Curry is one of the greatest one-on-one players in the NBA. But I don't know that I can put him higher than Kyrie Irving. I don't know anyone that can break down a team better than Kyrie Irving. And the only thing that separates Kyrie Irving from Stephen Curry is a consistent jump shot. Other than that, Stephen Curry ain't got nothing on Kyrie Irving. So I have him at number 8. James Harden, I have him at number 7. And, like you said, the only thing that James Harden doesn't do is defense. And the other thing that I have against James Harden, just shut up when Kevin McHale says something about you. Right. Just let it go, man. You play your game. But James Harden is ridiculously talented. And I think that he's going to be back in the MVP race. I didn't have him in the MVP race because Chris Paul. I think with Chris Paul out, as great of a player as Chris Paul is, that's going to give James Harden an opportunity to shine. And I think James Harden could be in the MVP race. We both have it number 6. The future of the NBA.
I agree.
Jerry West is the logo. Some people were talking about Michael Jordan. I don't know what the Greek Freak logo would look like. But when it's all said and done, the logo may be the Greek Freak for the NBA. That's how great that guy is. And you mentioned him not having a jump shot yet. So he's great without one. Imagine what he's going to be if he works on a jump shot.
Incredible.
Jonas, if you watch this, I know you're watching it. Everybody in the world is watching it. Work on your jump shot, bro. You are going to be remembered for the rest of your life and the rest of everyone's life because you're a history maker in the NBA. So that is our top 10 through 6.
On a side note, Giannis, Michael Redd played with Milwaukee Bucks. Had an awesome jump shot. I'm sure he's sitting around somewhere.
Yeah, get him to
work with you. He wouldn't mind collecting a paycheck. If you have to reach out to Mark Price, reach out to Mark Price. Listen, guys go to Olajuwon for post-up. You can go to someone for a jump shot. Reggie Miller ain't doing, well, he's at TNT, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind helping.
Man, honestly, the only thing, well, I think handle separates him from this other player. But the only other thing that separates him from this other player, KD, is that consistent jump shot. KD is ridiculous.
Right.
And when that boy gets a jump shot, it's going to be another level of greatness. Who's your top 5?
Well, the top 5, it was tough for me because of the order. All right. But I'm going to go with number 5, Russell Westbrook. I just think that he's the best point guard in the game. I just love everything about him. He's a combination of Kobe Bryant meets Allen Iverson. And what I like about him, I think he would suit up with you and I don't think he's one of those guys that want to bet 2 big dogs beat a little dog.
Right.
I think he'll take the poodle and go up against 2 big dogs.
I can win.
Yeah,
Right.
and I admire that about him.
Yes.
So he's my number 5. Kawhi Leonard is number 4 for me. I just think that Kawhi Leonard, he would even be a bigger name if he wasn't in a Popovich system. I think Popovich holds him back a little bit. Popovich has never promoted his players. He's never went on and said, this guy's got to be MVP. My guy's got to be an all-star player. They don't have the big, bright city like Chicago, L.A., New York. But Kawhi Leonard is a very fundamental player, sound player, and he operates on greatness. I give you an idea what I mean by how Pop hurts his players. If we asked 100 people who had a better career, Kobe Bryant or Tim Duncan, I'm sure we'll probably get more people that say Kobe Bryant. But Tim Duncan had one heck of a career. One heck of a career. And I think he had a career that would rival Kobe Bryant. I believe you can even make the case he had a better career than Kobe Bryant. But Pop has never promoted Tim Duncan to be that player or to get that recognition. And I think that Pop holds back Kawhi Leonard for that same purpose. Number 3, Curry. Only reason why, although I have Westbrook a better point guard than Curry or the best point guard in the game, I put Curry at number 3 because Curry has a dagger. And when he uses that dagger, it just takes your heart away. He deflates you. You know Westbrook is coming. You know you can't stop him. But Curry, just as you think you got him on your heels, he hits a 3-point shot from the other foul line, and next thing you know, you're like, it just deflates you. So I got him number 3. And number 2, I know I'm going to catch some flack from this, some heat from this, but bring it on. I'm waving it on. I actually wanted to put him lower, but I just think it would have been hate. LeBron. I think LeBron is number 2. And I'm going to tell you why he's number 2 by telling you who's number 1. Kevin Durant is the number 1 player in the game for me. And the reason why is that when you put Kevin Durant and up to LeBron, Kevin Durant has a better jump shot than him, mid-range, 3-point range. He shoots a better free throw shot from him. His ability to get to the basket is just as good as LeBron, if not better. LeBron has maybe a better passer than him. I think that Kevin Durant takes on a challenge of man-to-man defense better than LeBron. I think LeBron is overrated as a defensive player. I think that he's a great weak side help defender, but on the ball defender with maybe the opposing team's best player, he doesn't take that challenge for 48 minutes. Durant will. Carmelo will. Paul George will. LeBron does not. So for those reasons, I take Kevin Durant as number 1, and I keep LeBron at number 2.
I don't have much argument with anything that you said, except for when you said that Duncan, who I love, had a better career than Kobe.
No, I did not say that. I said you can make the argument that he had a better career than Kobe Bryant.
Okay, that's what you said. You said that. I'd like to argue with anyone that would like to make that argument, and I welcome all comers. We can argue it all day long. I can give you stats. No, forget stats. I'll just give you facts. Why Kobe had a better career than Duncan. But I respect you, Tim. We want you on the show. Don't hate on us because I said that. The funny thing about it, 5 through number 1, we had exactly the same. And we didn't even compare notes.
6 through 1.
Right, 6 through 1. Number 1, we had exactly the same. Russell Westbrook, unbelievable talent. But more than just his talent on the court, his heart. There's no measurement that you can place on that man's heart. And when you said the combination of Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant, but I was trying to think of someone that's strong, that's like a brick house that runs through. Because that dude is like a tank when he goes in. And he's fearless. And he has leaping ability. I just love everything about him. And I read I don't want to say the magazine because I can't remember what magazine it was, but I read an article about him. And we're seeing it come to fruition in his decisions with OKC. That he's loyal, not to a fault, to a blessing. And, you know, how a kid died that was his best friend. And how he went over after the kid died, his best friend, I think it was grandmother or mother's house, every Saturday to go clean their house and do the chores that his best friend was no longer able to do.
Wow.
Loyalty.
Wow.
You know, that's the kind of stuff that, you know, it's not why he's in the top 5, but it's why I love him.
Right.
Okay? Kawhi Leonard. Now, some people had Kawhi Leonard over Curry. And I don't agree with you that, you know, he's being held down by Popovich's system. I think he's excelled because of Popovich's system. I think that, you know, where he was drafted, he may not have been able to shine coming through another system. He may not have even had a chance to shine. But because he came through Popovich's system with Tim Duncan still there, it gave him an opportunity to grow into the Kawhi Leonard that we see today. But I can't put Kawhi Leonard in the top 3 because Kawhi Leonard hasn't done anything in the playoffs to be in the top 3. He has not done anything to advance in the playoffs without Tim Duncan. So I can't put him above Curry if he can't advance in the playoffs as the man on his team. Curry was the man, and he's the man. If KD is A, he's B. And I'm not going to say KD is 1 and he's 2. They're 1A and 1B on that team. And Curry, like you said, has a dagger, man. Curry is a killer. You know, you look at him, you say he's so kind and he's so gentle and he's such a Christian. Man, listen, on that court,
he's Charles Bronson.
Oh, man, he's trying to crucify you, okay? And he just has that it. He has that it. And I love the fact that he has overcome so many obstacles, the bad ankles, the low draft pick, playing at Davidson when Krzyzewski didn't want him at Duke. He took all of that and he used that to motivate him to be in this top list.
Yes. And he's won.
And he's won titles. MVPs, 2. And was the only one that was unanimous. So I can't put Kawhi Leonard over that. I'm sorry. And like you, I have LeBron at number 2. And I don't want to hate. I can't put Curry above LeBron, but it was a thought for me.
It is a thought.
It was a thought for me. But I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but I have to say that LeBron, even though, like you, I agree that he's somewhat overrated defensively, he will go to the guard late in the game and do one defensive stop, and they talk about what a great defender he is. But I think he's a good defender. I think that he's unstoppable as an offensive threat, especially when he puts his big butt down in that post. He's unstoppable. And the man is just a freak of nature. So we got to put him at number 2. But if anyone has watched this show for any amount of time, you know that I'm not dealing with favoritism because I don't like this guy. I don't like him. But I got to be honest. He's the best player in the NBA, period. Kevin Durant, I wish you would go back to being the Kevin Durant and not trying to be a hard rock or not trying to, because you represented by Rock Nation, you got to show off and, and act like a hard person. Stop that. That's not who you are. Come on, man. Keep it real, man. But you are the best player in the NBA, hands down. Hands down. I sent out a tweet the other night, man. And I was just sitting there watching that dude, man. Lost his shoe and was blocking 2 shots in a row. I mean, had no shoe on.
And his defense has come up.
Did he have like 6 or 7 blocks?
7 blocks in one game. And in one possession, he had 2.
2 back-to-back with no shoe.
Yeah, his defense has picked up. He's a tremendous player, tremendous athlete. Right now, I do have him as the game's best player. And only person I could see challenging him is Giannis because Giannis has a lot of him in him.
Yes.
It's just that he doesn't have that jump shot.
He doesn't have that jump shot. And we talked about it. When he gets that jump shot,
he's going to surpass it.
I mean, this list is going to change. And I can remember when KD was in that place of where the Greek freak Giannis was.
Right.
And I remember telling Tim, who's in China, yo, man, you need to watch this kid. Mm-hmm. This kid is going to be something. He's going to really do something. And now he's that kid. He's doing it, and I'm no longer a fan. But I got to keep it real. You know, he's the best in the NBA. And I wrote something down when you talked about Stephen Curry having a dagger. He is the most Bird-like player I've seen in the modern NBA. You remember when Bird used to get the ball? You go, no, 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 no. Every time he went like this, you just thought it was going in. Every time Curry pulls up, and KD is getting like that too. Every time he pulls up, you're like, God, dog it.
And it doesn't matter where from.
I don't care what. When Curry 2 years ago came across the half-court line on a Saturday night.
OKC.
Yeah, again, on a Saturday freaking night. Now they don't want to play on Saturday night because it's back-to-back or they're rested. But then they were playing on Saturday night, and he came across the half-court line.
Maybe one step,
One step, and launched it, and it was nothing but the bottom of the net. At that point, I was just like, that dude...
It should have been 5 points.
It should. They need to go to that. A 5-point play. Curry would break all scoring records with that. We complained going in about ESPN, the Washington Post. I don't know what they're getting paid. I don't want to make any accusations. I just did, but I don't know how they come up with what they come up with.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they got personal feelings towards players.
Yeah, right. But you know what? We're fans. We don't know them. They don't know us. They ain't going to come on this show, but maybe they will, but I don't know.
Listen, for the record, I'm not an analytic guy. I don't go by stats. I got the eye test.
The eyes, man.
That's all that matters to me. I do want to clear something up. When I spoke of Kawhi Leonard, I agreed the system of Pop has made him who he is. Mm-hmm. But maybe I wasn't clear or I just didn't say it right. What I mean by what Pop does is hold back his players. Mm-hmm. He doesn't promote them.
Right, I got you.
He doesn't put them in the media saying, you gotta include my guy. You gotta do that. He don't make none of those. He just let the play speak for itself.
And you know what? That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. A player's play should speak for itself. And true fans like us, not experts, just fans, we recognize good play. True play, commitment to the game. And I think everyone, and I just threw my notes, everyone that we had in the top 10, actually everyone that we had on the list has shown a commitment to the game. Yeah. That they take the game serious. Yes. That they work on their body. And all you young kids out there that are listening to this, it's not just skills and talent. It's hard work and dedication that's going to put you in someone's top 25. Ra, in closing, this is a fan's top 25.
Yes.
So this is what I want to challenge everyone. Let's have some dialogue about this. You're going to see our handles for Facebook. You're going to see our handles for Instagram. You're going to see our Twitter handles coming up at the end of the show. The Deep Hoops, and then ours individually. Hit us up. Let us know what your top 25 is. And we're going to be having a number that you can dial in so that you can give us your top 25. And we may put it on the show so we can hear you talk about your top 25. This is a fan show. Not just us as fans, but you as fans. We want to know what you think because we're not experts. And we're not going to tell you you're ridiculous for what you think because you know what? You have an opinion just like us. So bring it on. Let's talk. Let's chop it up with Ra, with the minister. We want to hear what you think as well. I've enjoyed doing this top 25.
Yes.
We will be back on Tuesday with our regular show. And we will come back with our regular show on Tuesday. But until then, Rob, do you want to say anything?
All I want to say is, like always, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us. Make your comments. As the minister mentioned, Give us your top 25. If that's too long, give us your top 10. We just want to hear from you. Let us know that you're there. We will mention you on the show. We'll comment. You got questions. Listen, you can disagree with us. That's fine.
I disagree with him all the time.
That's fine. It's all welcome. So please follow us, and thank you.
Hey, yo, John, I heard you talked about hearing background noise. Hit us up. Talk to us, man. Talk to us on Facebook. Talk to us on Twitter. Talk to us on Instagram. I know you have opinions. We grew up together. Eric Mapp, you talk to me on Facebook. Tell me who your top 25 is. Red Bruin, ex-Syracuse superstar. Give us your top 25, bro. I want to hear from Greg Berry. I want to hear from these cats that we talk to.
Yes.
I want to put it out there. And maybe we'll have you on the show to back up your stuff.
Red Bruin, you're the reason why I became a Syracuse fan.
Ha ha! I didn't.
Yeah, that's the reason why.
I didn't, because he dunked on me. He dunked on me, and that was it. But listen, I'm the Minister.
And I'm Ra.
And thank you for joining us here on Deep Hoops. Remember, we're not experts. We're fans just like you. Peace.
Peace.